Hey, bro. This is a special podcast day today because it's your birthday. So first time we're doing a podcast on your birthday. So happy birthday. Can't believe that you're turning 34 and to sort of commemorate this special occasion, I got you a wrestling themed gift. All
Really?
right. So just give me a second and I'll come back.
Ah, you didn't have to do that. Well, where are you going? Just got to go off screen?
Hey, bro. Cue the intro.
The following presentation has been brought to you by HSF Productions.
The Impromptu Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Jeff and David.
Hey guys, welcome back to IWP, the Impromptu Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Towelie 006. Over to my left is my brother Damien. As always, how you doing this week?
I'm doing well. This week is my last week of work, and then I'm on vacation, so looking forward to that.
Sweet. Yeah, that's
How's
awesome.
your week, your birthday week been?
It's been good. I really delved in. Is that the word? Delved into the streaming game. I think I just
If it's
made
not
up
a word, I understood what you were going for.
Yeah, so I've been streaming all week. I know you've been watching along, so I appreciate that, and just giving it a try, see how it works out. It's hard.
Yeah,
It's hard.
plug your handle there.
Yeah, if anybody wants to check me out gaming on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Towelie_006. But maybe I'll leave that in the description below if you want to check it out. Play Call of Duty. We were playing some Uno, which is friggin' hilarious. We had some fun this week, so it's fun. It's a new challenge for sure, but it is what it is. But let's get into the show. We got a big show today, this week. BTE, AEW Dark as always, as well as AEW Dynamite, but a special edition of Scoop of Vanilla. Last Sunday was NXT In Your House pay-per-view, so we just want to run through the matches really quick. I didn't watch it, and I doubt you watched it either, but there were some big title changes and whatnot, so I'd like to get that covered just for the sake of
for sure.
Super Vanilla. So if you're new around here, think about subscribing. Drop us a like for sure. It helps out the channel a lot. And leave some comments below if you watched Dynamite or AEW Dark. Anything you want to comment about, we will very much reply back and engage into a conversation with you as always. But let's get right into BTE. This was not a good episode. I'm just gonna throw it out.
It started
there.
with the title of the episode, right?
Yeah, colonoscopy is like episode 207 colonoscopy. I'm like, what the hell? And I mean, was the thumbnail CD? I can't remember. I think it was, right? I'm just what's going on here? Is this a bit? But I mean, it wasn't. Like, this guy legitimately got a colonoscopy and poured his heart out to us, and it was just like, I don't know, it was a real mood killer. But
yeah, I would agree. Not the best of episodes, but it was kind of a shorter one than it has been lately. So
it felt long to me though, just because, like, I mean, it wasn't just CD's part; it was everything. Like, to me, the highlight of the show was the best friends, and they're kind of continuing this bit of them trying to think of a bit, and they keep running away from Brandon Cutler. You know, like, to me, that was the only good part of the show.
That part's good because it's fresh.
Yeah.
Everything else is stale, right? We have the Cool Cabana Kenny. Matt's still doing his, doing his rib there where he's trying to get out of things.
Right.
They started this new Spanglish thing, which didn't come off well. Cutler's doing his talking about real life stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
It just wasn't a good episode. It really missed the mark on this one. I'm over Colt. I'm over Colt Cabana. I'm over Kenny. You know. Yeah, I know. I'm just over it.
Yeah.
Really,
I was looking forward to Private Party. Like, I thought, like, are we continuing this? Seemed to kind of be left with more, and then we didn't get any more in this one. So,
right. But yeah, the Matt Jackson stuff. Matt Hardy still kind of still entertaining, doing the explanations of the wrestling terms in his broken brilliance. But yeah, I don't know. It was just a bad episode, and I'm done talking about it.
All right.
Quickly, special installment of Breaking Kayfabe. I just wanted to put this before AEW Dark because we kind of found this out during AEW Dark. They didn't really do a really good reveal of this news, but Alan Angels, who's one of the jobbers that worked during the pandemic quarantine editions of AEW Dark and Dynamite, really impressive wrestler. I know we were really high on this guy. He has joined the Dark Order and is now known as Five. So, pretty interesting news. I mean, we've been talking about this over the last couple months, really. It's like, when are we going to see some people join Dark Order? And they're starting. Like, first it was Preston Vance. Well, first it was Long John Silver and what's the other guy's name? Alex Riley. They joined. I believe they're referred to as 3 and 4. And then we had Preston Vance as number 10. I engaged in a funny Twitter conversation with can't even remember what her name is, but she had tweeted out, you know, number 7 is the real underdog story of the Dark Order. And I refer to, I was like, number 6 is the true dark horse of the Dark Order. We don't even know who these people are yet. You know what I mean? Like, because we had seen 8 and 9 in a tag team, and they got destroyed. They got destroyed in a tag team match. So it's just funny that she said number 7, and I said number 6, and now we got a number 5. So it'll be interesting if a number 6 does come, who that is, or even a number 7, to see if they actually are kind of that, you know, special underdog, dark horse kind of member. It'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of excited to see that. But all right, let's move. Well, yeah. So again, Alan Angels has joined the Dark Order, is now known as 5. Let's move right into AEW Dark. What did we have on Dark this week?
Oh boy, we had another huge episode of Dark. I'll run through them. So we had Lowrider and Fuego de Sol. He debuted, or did they both debut?
They both debuted, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Seems to be a no-one tag team. They're
Right.
already an
And I
established
think
tag
this Fuego de Sol, is this the guy that Lance Archer was kicking the crap out of? And then I think it was you saying, well, I guess we're going to see this guy on Dark soon.
Oh, yeah. You know it might have been.
Yeah, I think it was him.
Because Fuego was the one not in a mask. And he just had a bandana, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, I think it was the other way around.
Lowrider had the mask in Dark. So if
did he? Okay,
yeah.
then the Lowrider guy. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It definitely was the one Archer was beating up in the parking lot.
Okay. And they went up against SCU, which was Kazarian and Sky, and SCU went over in that one. Sure. Then we had a reveal of Alan Angels. This was sort of would you say it was a ceremony?
Yeah, it was like an acceptance and initiation of some sorts. They presented him with the mask, and
I thought they did it in a pretty cool way. I like how he had his back to the camera and everything, so you weren't quite sure maybe who it was. And then he fought Lee Johnson in a really, really good match, actually. Yeah. Number 5 took that one. Then we had Musa and Pierce. Does he have a first name?
No, it's just Pierce.
Just Pierce? Oh, okay. Made me think of Buck Pierce. Versus Proud and Powerful. Proud and Powerful go over in that one. Nightmare Family had a segment where I can't even remember what happened. Was this the shirts?
Yeah, QT comes and gives. They were supposed to have a tag team match, and QT comes and tells them that it's just going to be a singles match, and that Allie had stayed up all night making these shirts, and he wanted Brandy and Dustin to wear them at ringside for him. They were not happy.
They were super huge.
Yeah, they were super huge.
Then we had Pineapple Pete and Anthony Katana versus Butcher and the Blade. So is this the first match?
This is Butcher and Blade's first match back.
First match. Yeah.
Official.
It was a pretty good match too, even though it had Pineapple Pete in it. We had Zach Clayton, his debut versus QT Marshall, with Allie on commentary. Allie's always good on commentary. I mean,
at least she engaged in conversation. I know we were very critical of Britt Baker when she was on commentary, but Allie did a really good job. And then she came down and got involved in the match, which was really cool too. So
yeah, more time we see Allie on camera, the better.
You bet.
QT went over on that one. Then we had Sonny Kiss versus Christopher Daniels. So one of those odd matches where we don't have kind of an undercard guy on it, and Christopher Daniels goes over in that one. That was a good match as well, I thought. Then we had the losers. Did these guys have a name yet?
No, they're still just the Librarian and Brandon Cutler is how they were introduced. So
okay. Yeah, so Avalon and Color going up against Jurassic Express, which was Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt. And kind of fell asleep in this one. So
yeah.
Was it good or
no? It wasn't. The most interesting part of this match is that Marco Stunt had new ring gear, and he's really embracing this kind of mini Luchasaurus gimmick that because he was given the mask at one point, but now he's got the same pants and kick pads that Luchasaurus has, and now he's doing Lucha's moveset. So there's an interesting bit at the end where Marco's like, I want to finish this. I want to do this. So he gives the tail whip to Peter Avalon and then tries to chokeslam him, but he can't get him up because he's too small. So Luchasaurus has to help him get the chokeslam off. It was kind of an interesting little bit. It was the most entertaining part of the match. But yeah, I like that. Marco Stunt's kind of like Mini-saurus.
Oh, that's cool. And then in the main event, we had Robert Anthony versus John Moxley. This wasn't the title match. What did you think of this match?
I mean, it was fine. Robert Anthony, I'm already like, I got a sore spot for this guy because he was the goof staring at the camera when they were trying to hold Jericho back, and I'm just like, man, no, I'm done with you. You ruined it. But I mean, it was a fine match. He's a good wrestler. He's a good technical wrestler. I think that's the one. He's been in the business for like 20 years. Has never gotten a break.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I just don't like his ring attire. He looks too much like Brandon Cutler.
The red. And very red, kind of bluish color. Wears the long pants, I believe. So yeah, it was a fine.
Yeah,
match.
So good matches in dark. Then we have our guys that we're not really fans of, but yeah, so overall it was good.
It's fine. Check it out on YouTube. Let's move on to Scoop of Vanilla. Like I mentioned in the intro of the show, it was NXT In Your House. I want to say this is the first time WWE's used the In Your House moniker since the early 90s, before they started doing monthly pay-per-views. This was kind of the the main show where the superstars fought the superstars and the titles were on the line. It was a pay-per-view show that they did every once in a while, in between the big four of WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and Royal Rumble, right? So it was kind of neat to see. I saw images. I felt like they had some of the old set there, where it was like the front yard. But I don't know if I was tricked into seeing those images. Like I said, I didn't watch the show, but I thought it was cool if that was a real picture that I saw. So interesting there. Let's get right into the matches that we had. I believe these are in order on the card, which is something I want to bring up when we get through it. But we had a 6-woman tag match. Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tegan Knox. They went over against Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. Now, Shotzi Blackheart and Raquel Gonzalez, I've never heard these names before. I don't even know. I think Shotzi Blackheart might have been in Casino Battle Royale, like Full Gear, when they did the women's. I think she was in AEW, but it looks like she's in NXT now. But it's awesome to see Tegan Knox back on a card. I'm not sure when she got back. She suffered that devastating knee injury in the Mae Young Classic a couple years ago. So I'm happy to see that she's back in action. Candice LeRae and Dakota Kai, amazing talents. I'm sure this was an awesome match. We go into Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Damian Priest has been getting a lot of attention lately. He's kind of one of the last big guys left in NXT, so it was. I'm sure this was an interesting match going up against a smaller guy like Finn Balor. Finn Balor goes over. It was just a straight up singles match. Then we get into the North American Championship match. Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano. I'm not sure who was champion going into this match, but Keith Lee came out of it. And, I mean, Johnny Gargano, like, you can't help but feel for this guy. He's the workhorse of NXT. He always loses. He's kind of a Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean? Like, his talent speaks for himself, so he doesn't need to win. And like, this guy constantly loses.
It's like the curse of being over.
It is the curse of
need a title.
Yeah, very much so. I feel for Johnny Gargano. I doubt. I'm sure the call up is there and he's refusing it. I feel like that's what's happening with Johnny Gargano right now. Why would you want to go up to the main card and be nothing when you can be on every pay-per-view in NXT, lose, and still lead merch sales? Like, Johnny Gargano's
he'll be Finn Balor.
Yeah,
like that's what he'll be.
Yeah, for sure. So interesting match. I think I want to watch that one. And now the next match on the card was the NXT Championship match. They're calling it a last chance backlot brawl. And there's a special stipulation. It's Adam Cole champion versus Velveteen Dream challenger. And I guess the last chance about it is that if Velveteen Dream does not defeat Adam Cole, he can no longer challenge for the NXT title as long as Adam Cole has it. So, interesting stipulations. It seems like it was a no DQ kind of hardcore match, being a backlot brawl. Adam Cole victorious. Adam Cole's been NXT champion for well over a year now, which is pretty amazing in NXT world, I feel. Again, one of those guys that I'm sure Vince is trying to get called up because he must hear how over these guys are. But I'm sure Adam Cole is saying no. I want to stay where I am. Like, right? What do you think of Adam Cole being on the main roster?
Yeah, he's not a super big guy. So, and look who's holding the titles lately. Mm-hmm. You know, Lesnar and McIntyre. Right. Like, he just doesn't fit that mold.
Braun Strowman right now, SmackDown title. So, yeah, it's interesting too. I should probably bring it up. Adam Cole's contract is up in like August, and no signs of re-signing. And I don't know what Roderick Strong's situation is, Kyle O'Reilly or Bobby Fish.
Don't even tease me, man.
I
even tease
don't
me.
know, but I don't know if you listen to Britt Baker's Unrestricted podcast, but
I did.
she said she would love to see her boyfriend in AEW. She wants to work with him. They've never worked together before because I think they got together after.
And they're friends. Like Adam knows like a lot of people that she works with, and
Well, I mean, let's break kayfabe here. Adam Cole was in the Super Click party. The Super Click, that was a faction that they had in PWG. It consisted of 4 people. Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, and Kevin Steen at the time, now known as Kevin Owens. I mean, he would be huge in AEW. You think you're big in NXT? Oh my god.
yeah, you'd be, yeah, he'd be up there.
Adam Cole comes to AEW, takes the TNT Championship from Cody. Calling it now.
Are we confirming? Are we confirming it?
Adam Cole is the next TNT champion.
We still have an outstanding confirm right now.
What's that?
We got the FTR one. Sting.
Oh yeah, Sting.
We said
Sting hasn't
was
been confirmed. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's keep the show rolling. We had a singles match between Karrion Kross with Scarlett Bordeaux on at ringside. He goes over Tommaso Ciampa by technical submission. I don't even know what that means. Did he pass out? Is that fancy wording for he passed out, didn't tap?
Probably. Yeah.
Karrion Kross, I don't know a lot about this guy. He's fairly new to NXT. I think he's only been there for 3 or 4 months. He's the real life partner, boyfriend, husband. I'm not sure if they're married or not, of Scarlett Bordeaux. Scarlett got out of her contract from Impact Wrestling near the end of 2019, and she signed with NXT, which was a big deal. She's one of those bombshell type, almost like she was a model back in the day, but she has a pretty good wrestling background, and I haven't gotten a chance to see her work in NXT, but interesting that they're pushing a new guy over an established name like Tommaso Ciampa. It's interesting.
Yeah, he's got a good look. I was just looking him up here.
I don't
got the tats, good shape.
Yeah.
Bald head.
And this is where I'm confused. Like, why was this match before or after the NXT Championship match? Like, I don't get that. But I'm sure they're still doing some pre-recorded type stuff, and maybe that's just where it fit in. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the main
that is weird.
The main event of the evening was a triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. We had champion Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. Io Shirai goes over. She gets she's the new NXT Women's Champion. I'm not sure how this all went down. I highly doubt Charlotte Flair took the fall. I gotta think Io pinned Rhea in this one. But again, I didn't watch the show, but that's the situation. We have Keith Lee retaining the NXT North American Championship. We have Adam Cole retaining the NXT Championship, and Io Shirai becoming the new NXT Women's Champion. So big news coming out of NXT. I'll have to download that and watch it. Sounds like there's some.
Yeah, maybe we got to do that this weekend, since we'll be together.
For sure. Let's keep the show rolling. Let's get into this week's power rankings for June 10th, 2020.
Hey, we got some movement.
Got some changes?
We got some changes, and I made a mistake from last week, so I'll talk about that. In the men's division,
I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, did you?
I noticed, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I do that sometimes, but I guess I'm always kind of doing it fast. So
right. It's all good.
We got our 2 champs. Nothing's changed there. Moxley, Cody. MJF still the number 1 contender, followed by Lance Archer, Brody Lee, Kenny Omega, and then Chris Jericho at number 5. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah, getting back into it.
Yeah, so we had Darby there. Chris is back. What do you think of Chris being back in the top 5? Does it mean something?
I don't know. I don't get it. He hasn't wrestled a singles match. Like, what, he beat Colt Cabana? Now you're in the top 5? I think there's someone else that could be more deserving in there.
I wonder if maybe there's going to be a storyline. Or is this still just the Tyson thing that, I don't know.
Maybe. I'm not sure. It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. Yeah. In the women's division, we have no changes. So that's 2 weeks in a row now. Sheeta's still our champ. Nyla Rose number 1, followed by Statlander, Baker, Zakazaki, and Penelope Ford. Who, we're going to talk about Penelope Ford here this week, aren't we?
Are.
In the tag team division, not a lot of changes. Kenny Omega, Hangman, still the champs. Best Friends, still number 1 contenders, followed by Natural Nightmares, Private Party. SCU is at position 4, so they're new, back in the top 5, followed by Young Bucks. So SCU replaces the super bad Death Squad, which last week I said was Dark Order. So last week in the number 4 position was Havoc and Sabian. They're out this week.
Is that their name? The Super Bad Death Squad?
Yeah, the Super Bad Death Squad, yeah.
That's way better than Death Triangle.
Sarcasm?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well, let's get right into AEW Dynamite live from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, June 10th, 2020. Start off the show, it was announced that Chris Jericho would be returning to commentary. I'm not a fan of the big commentary booths. I mean, 3's already enough, but to think that Jericho is going to be there for the whole show, which is kind of what they're making it seem, I was like, man, they're going to be talking all over each other. But I mean, it was good to see Jericho back. I love that guy on commentary.
And he made his opportunity. Hey, like, he was talking most of the time.
Yeah.
Shivani really didn't say too much.
No, I my favorite part of Jericho on commentary was when he threw the commercial, and before it cut out, he's like, "Hey, that was pretty good, eh, JR?" And JR's like, "Yeah, that was pretty good, son." I was like, "Yes!" Like, they caught it just as it faded out. It was so good. Like, it just added to the whole thing. Also, some big news is we got our ring announcer back. Justin Roberts making a return to Dynamite. It was good to hear him again. I'll bring it up during the main event, but a little disappointed. But we'll talk about that later.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm disappointed it's not Dasha because she's dashing.
I mean, we got to see Dasha, but we'll talk about that. Well, let's get right into the first matchup of the night. We have the long-awaited...
It's a big one.
Big one. Match of the night. Really was. We have the Dynamite return of Butcher and the Blade. You know, these guys have had quite the build-up. They attack the Young Bucks. We get the debut of FTR. They interrupt FTR's interview with Schiavone. There's some heat coming up behind Butcher and the Blade, as well as, they're going up against the debuting hottest tag team in the business right now. Still technically free agents. They haven't put pen to paper. I think we kind of announced it that it was all elite confirmed and everything like that. But as far as before this week's Dynamite, they have not put pen to paper with AEW. They're working on handshake agreements with Tony Khan right now. What that means, I don't know.
So does this still have to do with like WWE and some kind of clause they have? No, clause?
They're free to go wherever they want. They're free and clear from WWE. I think they're just they really want to work in New Japan and stuff like that. So I think they're just working out details of the contract to where they are free to go wherever they want. Much like Lance Archer, much like Moxley, and a lot of the other guys that have that. But I'm sure there's lawyers involved and stuff like that, which is kind of holding.
I'm sure they're probably putting some clauses in there about, you know, what kind of costumes they can make them wear and things like that as well.
You got to have control over your talent in some way.
Yeah.
Anyways, huge debut for AEW. FTR, follow the rules, fear the revolt, whatever you want to call them. They're here. No flips. No, what did Cash say on Twitter? They had some interesting Twitter posts leading up to this match. You know, this is like, you're not going to see us doing super kicks, jumping off the top rope, landing on our feet, somersaulting through, handprints on our thighs. Man, they tore the Young Bucks apart in these tweets. It was really good. What did you think of this match?
I think it was a great match. It could have been just a crap match, and I think I still would have been totally pumped for it because just so excited that they're there. Because I when we watched Vanilla Brand, I really like these guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're my kind of tag team. I like the old school stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like their look. So
I feel like
but it was a good match.
Let's talk about tag team wrestling really quickly today in today's modern age. We've kind of been in the era the last 15, 20 years almost of tag teams just being, single competitors that might not have a storyline, so we'll throw them together, we'll throw the championships on them. Because they're usually our top guys. I mentioned some names out last week. The Kane and Daniel Bryan, the Undertaker Austin. They're always top guys that aren't in the title picture at that moment that always seem to have the title belts. Then you look at the off Vanilla Brand, and it's very much a high flyer, very choreographed style. You can call that the modern style of professional wrestling. That seems to be where tag team wrestling is at the moment. When you get four guys in there working together, you have these really spectacular matches, which is cool. Like some of the most amazing tag matches I've seen have been from the Young Bucks in New Japan working with, against the Bullet Club after they kind of left the Bullet Club, Tonga and I forget what the other guy's name is, but the Bullet Club OGs, some awesome tag matches. But the Revival, FTR, formerly known as the Revival, that's a good FTR acronym. It seems to be whatever you want it to be. Anyways, I'm digressing. These guys are really passionate about tag team wrestling. They mention the Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express. Tully, Blanchard, and Arn Anderson. They were in the crowd watching this match. Hart Foundation, Anvil, Neidhart, and Bret Hart. Tag team wrestling, Demolition. That's what tag team wrestling should be. I feel like the high flyer kind of spot monkey style is fine in singles matches because then you're only concentrating on one thing and you can almost follow the story. It's easier to tell the story with just two. I think tag team wrestling should be, the nitty gritty, beat each other down, and both these teams are that kind of tag team.
Yeah, you're right. I think WWE tainted the tag team division. And we've had many talks about this as it just turned into a way to show more of their guys at a time.
Right.
Instead of, two in a singles match taking up 10 minutes of TV time, now we can have four guys.
And you know what I'm really excited about? AEW has such a strong tag team division. I mean, I could spend 10 minutes going through all the tag teams they have, And there are a couple of those, singles wrestlers put together, which is okay if it's done right. But I miss the build-ups to tag team championship matches where it's like you have the initial setup, there's a brawl. Okay, this is the feud that's going. And now the next 4 weeks, partner A wrestles partner A, partner B wrestles partner B the next week, and then you get partner A wrestling partner B the week after, and then you get partner B wrestling partner A the next week after that. And you have these build, and there's all this tension, and you can do it in different ways. Like, we don't see that anymore. We don't have that 6-8 week build to a tag team match that we used to see with Christian and Edge, the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, the New Aged Outlaws. Like, that was really the last kind of golden era of tag team wrestling, was the late 90s. So I'm excited to get back into that kind of stuff. And it started off with this. Like, this match was so good. It was so good.
Yeah. Because there's wrestling.
There was wrestling. And let's talk about this finisher. The Mind Breaker. Another Excalibur original. I'm leading to believe.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the FTR guys could have come up with something like that. I like how Jericho almost buried him, though. He's just like, well, that's basically this move, but you call it whatever you want.
Yeah, it was like a scoop pile driver or something like that.
Yeah.
He called it. Yeah, he did kind of bury the move. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. But I mean, pretty devastating. It's basically an assisted spike pile driver. Cash goes up to the top rope, and Dax, has him in the pile driver position. We've been seeing some variations of this move. The Indie Taker, best Meltzer driver ever, kind of all similar tag team tandem moves. They did use their WWE finisher, which is kind of the assisted code breaker. I actually forget what they called it in the vanilla brand. It wasn't the Magic Killer. That was the club.
Yeah.
But anyways, they pulled that out, and they didn't even really have a name on par, like on tap for that one. They were just like, oh, that was a devastating move. 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? So we'll interested to see what they're gonna call
Shatter
that.
Machine?
The Shatter Machine, thank you. Yeah, they can't call it that. Terrible name.
Yeah.
Great match.
We had some action after the match, this one too, before we finished this one. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, I think it was Shivani comes into the ring and to do a little after the match interview, and then the Young Bucks walk out before they can even really get the interview off. And the Young Bucks are basically saying they're the best. They've been carrying tag team wrestling on their backs for, a decade now and all this. And then out comes Butcher and the Blade. That brought out the Super Bad Death Squad, and Kenny and Hangman come out. And they're kind of brawling, and then it kind of ended with Kenny, being the good Canadian he is, the peacekeeper, saying, everybody calm down, FTR, great match, and they went to a commercial. So I like how they're putting the butter in the frying pan, and it's it's sizzling.
Right.
We don't really know if there's going to be a full-on feud here, but it's like it's starting.
Yeah, I like that you bring that up. They're obviously pointing towards that. Everybody wants that clash between FTR and the Young Bucks, but they haven't touched each other yet. It was the turnaround handshake the week before, and this time there was the interrupt from the other two tag teams. So they didn't have a chance to fight each other, So, it's interesting how they're doing this. Why these tag teams? I was thinking to myself, Like, why Super Bad Death Squad? Why? I mean, Butcher and the Blade were already out there, so that kind of makes sense. But why is Kenny and Hangman putting themselves into this situation? They're supposed to be worrying about, best friends at Fyter Fest. It could be Natural Nightmares, which we'll talk about in a little while. So I don't get why they're out there. I guess just for that pull apart peacekeep, like he said.
Yeah.
Could you see, All Out at the end of September, like a four-way tag team championship match? Is that something that AEW's never really done anything like that? So
Yeah.
not yet, anyways. Is that where it's going?
I hope they don't. I'm not really a fan of those matches. But I think that they have an actual name. Super Bad Death Squad. They have an actual name. So I'm wondering if they're now like their hats are in the ring for being we are now a tag team or a faction or whatever.
Right. Yeah, because I guess you got to assume.
Whereas our
Penelope's-
champions don't even have a name yet.
Right. Yeah, I can't see with the amount of tag team talent that's in AEW, and now that everybody's coming back to work, I can't see Kenny and Hangman holding on to these belts much longer. And it might be the best friends that take it away from them, or it might be one of these, at All Out. But I can't see them. I would be very surprised if we're going into year 2 of Dynamite in October and Hangman and Kenny are still champs. I'll be mad.
Well,
to be
well,
honest.
we're teasing a few breakups, so maybe it's making room for new ones.
For sure. I think it's time.
We got Hangman, Kenny. Natural Nightmares might not be a thing for very much longer.
Right.
So
well, that's a good segue. Let's talk about Natural Nightmares. Right after we come back from commercial break, we get this interview. Natural Nightmares, Brandy, and Allie are all there. Allie's wearing a Nightmare Family jacket. She's got her name embroidered on, and Brandy's not liking it. What are your thoughts on this kind of Brandy Allie feud? It's like Brandy's not jealous, but she's pissed off that is she pissed off that Allie's being that distraction to QT, or is she jealous that she's not the only girl in the Nightmare Family now? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I never thought about it. She seemed to be more upset that it was the Nightmare Family. So I'm going to say she wasn't jealous. She was the only girl.
Right.
But yeah, I really like this. My prediction, if we're going to do predictions, is they are going to split up. I think that for not because I'm being a smart wrestling fan. It was announced earlier this week that Dustin will be opening his own wrestling school.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be taking his time away from, kind of the limelight. So QT needed an angle to kind of go off on his own.
That makes sense.
But I think it would be cool if we could have an intergender match. I don't know that we've seen one yet in AEW.
No, not
So maybe like
not yet.
I guess we had talked about they can't do it on TNT, but maybe a dark match, because they can do a little bit more on YouTube,
Right.
or possibly even a pay-per-view.
Um,
Because we haven't seen Allie wrestle forever.
No, not ever since she became the bunny there, really. But this is where I think this is all going. Is I agree with you. I think the split is imminent for the Natural Nightmares. Yeah, I think QT and Allie go their own way. But Allie's playing that character. Like, she's gonna dump him.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe after the split, he starts losing. She doesn't want to back a loser, so she dumps him. And then Brandy's going to come in, and it'll be Brandy Alley in a match, because Brandy feels, QT's part of the family, and she wants to protect her, whatever you want, adopted brother or whatever however they're, spreading the family out there. But yeah, I think Allie's going to dump QT, and Brandy's going to bitch slap her for it.
I like that angle. That's very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Where does Allie go from there, though? Does she go back to Butcher and the Blade?
I'm not sure what Allie does. I'm surprised they split them up. I liked her with those guys. It added something to their. I mean, she was nice.
They just
to look
needed
at.
a better name.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what she's gonna do after that. But she definitely needs to get back in the ring. She's a decent wrestler, and she's a better valet.
Remember her as a wrestler.
She's a better valet. She's a better valet than a wrestler, but I mean, she's still a wrestler. She should be wrestling. It is what it is. It was also announced during this segment that the Natural Nightmares will be taking on the Best Friends next week on Dynamite, and the Best Friends are putting up their title shots at Fyter Fest. So if Natural Nightmares can somehow beat the Best Friends next week on Dynamite, they'll face Kenny and Hangman for the titles at Fyter Fest July 1st or 8th. So big news out of that. Let's move on to the next matchup of the night. We had a women's tag team match. We've been seeing a lot of these where they're just kind of sticking the 4 top contenders in a tag team match, faces versus heels. They have not been good lately, but this one really turned it around for me. This was a really, really good match. There was no real obvious botches. We had AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida and Chris Statlander versus the Native Beast Nyla Rose and Superbad Penelope Ford. I really enjoyed this match. It was a breath of fresh air from all the botch heavy matches that we've seen, especially these 4 girls in. But this one was better. I really enjoyed it. What were your thoughts?
Yeah. I'm glad you went first on this one, because I as I was watching this one, I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to say during the podcast? And I'm like, yeah, here's what's going to happen. You're going to ask me how the match is. I'm going to say how much I liked it. I really did like it. And then you're going to turn around. It's still garbage.
Yeah, that kind of happened the last couple times. But
in about, was it, I think 3 matches in a row where they had this, mix of girls, usually always Nyla Rose, Statlander, and Shida, and then they always had kind of someone else in there. We had kind of said that Statlander and Rose were they're
kind of the epicenter,
kind of sore spots.
Yeah.
And I thought Chris Statlander was the highlight of this match. Mm-hmm. I thought she had probably her best match in AEW right here. And Nyla Rose still selling a bit too much, I think, for being the, the beast. But Penelope Ford was good. And Sheeta's always Sheeta. She actually didn't really even have a lot to do in this match.
No, she had that one. She got into the match against Penelope Ford, and she did her stuff. She got her knee strikes in and pandered to the crowd. But then after that, she tagged Statlander back in, and then Rose and Penelope Ford kind of took the match over from there. And it wasn't, they get the kind of the hot tag, but it falls apart. And then we go into the finish where Statlander is taken out of the match on one side. Nyla throws the belt into Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford hits Shida with the belt and gets the win over the champion, which is a real big boost to Penelope Ford's status or value. So this was a really good match.
So two things here. Two things here is when I'm doing up our little plan here, You don't see me do this because we're at different locations.
Right.
But when the match starts and I put in, here's who's doing it, I always write in the winner right after, before the match is even done. And I would say my record is like high 90s.
Okay.
So one of the things I liked about this match is I had Sheeta Statlander as winning this match.
For sure.
And I like how Sabian gets involved. I love that they use the belt as the sort of interference. And I thought that was really good. The other thing is that we should note is Chris Jericho on comms outright says that Penelope is going to be the champ. I don't know if he said next, but soon.
She's on her way or something.
Yeah.
To that effect.
So that's interesting because I feel like you don't just make that claim.
Well, I mean, you pin the champion. We've seen this in wrestling over the last 20 years in these non-title where the champion's kind of involved in a multi-person match and they get pinned. It's usually that person that that goes on to at least feud with the champion. We don't really know who champion is. If we look back at the power rankings, Penelope Ford's still 5th, right?
She still is, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm gonna put it out there that she moves up to 2nd. She'll be number 2 in the power rankings next week. This is huge.
Because of this comment from Jericho, you think?
The comment from Jericho, the fact that she pinned the champ, even though it was a dirty finish, her value is skyrocketing. And if that's the direction they're going, if it's going to be Sheeta Penelope Ford at Fyter Fest, all titles are on the line, right? Penelope Ford needs to be higher up in the rankings for it to make sense. So I think this week she's number 2, and next week maybe she's a one-on-one versus Statlander and wins that. Nyla Rose might even be a one-on-one on Dark against somebody and maybe loses, and then that justifies the switch. Penelope Ford will be number 1 going into Fyter Fest. So
wow. You heard it here, folks. Yeah, I heard it here.
But yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, she's on fire right now. It'll happen. Let's move on to the next segment of the night. We had another pre-filmed, pre-recorded Darby Allin special, if you will. It starts off with him kind of leaning on his knees. He's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not medically cleared. And then the camera kind of pans over and we see skateboarding legend Tony Hawk. He's like, you don't need medical clearance here, man. You can skate all day you want. And then it proceeds to go to Darby Allin doing the worst acid drop off a ladder I've ever seen. Like, I think he was purposely doing that wrong for the sake of the video, like purposely crashing and burning. I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure it's hard. I mean, he wasn't doing it right. Like, I'm no skateboarder, but I mean, I followed skateboarding, when skateboarding was huge. He wasn't popping the acid drop at all. He was just falling. It was, I wouldn't
terrible. Know. After like the 5th time, I'm like, really? Is this what this is about? But then he makes it. Right? And what I noticed about this is he has a jacket on when he makes it. He didn't for all the falls, but in the one he makes, he's wearing a jacket. And Tony's watching. So, I don't know. It wasn't Darby's best video package.
No, it wasn't. But
it wasn't the typical ones.
I do like that, an established name like Tony Hawk is involved in this, because word will get out. Tony Hawk was involved in this wrestling business. At least he was on the show. We've talked about it a few weeks ago when the Mike Tyson thing was announced. Like, WWE was really made their name in the late 80s with the WrestleMania and having Muhammad Ali and Cyndi Lauper, Mr. T, you know, like celebrities being involved in wrestling is what grew WWE in the late 80s.
Yeah.
AEW needs to do that, and we're starting to see that. We're getting Mike Tyson, we're getting Tony Hawk. We've had in the lead up to the pay-per-view, we saw many celebrities, Stephen Amell, and you know, who was all in the Manitoba Melee. There's some celebrities in there too. I can't even remember.
The Hulk was there.
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno. You know, not the biggest
Yeah.
names, but I mean,
Yeah.
they're working
And
their way up.
JR dropped Dwayne Johnson's name in
Really?
the broadcast. Yeah,
I did not catch that at all.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
And The Rock watches AEW.
Yeah,
I
he
saw
tweets about
on
it all the
YouTube.
time. He tweets about it
Oh,
all
really?
the time. Yeah.
Oh, I don't follow him, but yeah, not the best segment. But I guess what I'm taking away from this is Darby's going to be back.
Yeah, I mean,
Whether he's been faking an injury, or I shouldn't say faking.
yeah.
Pardon me, wrestling fans. I take that back. Whether
Selling.
he was doing a work
Yeah.
or not, it seems like we're gonna see him back in the ring soon.
Yeah, I think the making of the skateboard trick is a metaphor for, you know, I'm ready to go. I think that's the point of the video, even though it was poorly executed. But again, what I'm excited about is Tony Hawk being involved. That's going to bring new faces to the product, and that's the most important thing. So, but let's move on to the next segment. We had another video package, this time involving Britt Baker. This was amazing. I thought this was hilarity. If it was meant to be hilarious, I think this whole Britt Baker heel thing that she's got going on does well in the comedic realm. Right? She tried to be the Heat, you know, and it worked, but then the commentary kind of took that away, and then they started getting into this comedic fashion where she's pretending to be Tony's friend, but really she's just passive aggressively ripping on him, you know, and stuff like that. Like, that's all what's working, and this was just more of that. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's kind of a continuation from last week's, you know, where she's trying to do the weights, but, you know, even though they're very limited weights, she's still not able to do it. And then you got Reba helping her out with it.
Okay, so I love that Jericho, this was a little bit later on in the show. I think it was in the next, during the next match. Or no, it was during the women's tag team match. Jericho refers to her as Reba, and Excalibur corrects him. It's Rebel. Hey, shut up over there, Excalibur. The doctor calls her Reba. I'm calling her Reba. That's freaking perfect.
Yeah.
And we had that same
Do you
situation.
think they did it on purpose, or was it an accident? Because, I mean, last week you thought her name was Reba.
Well, that's what I was just going to bring up. We had the same situation. I'm like, I thought that bitch's name was Reba. And you're like, no, it's Rebel. She just called her Reba in the bit. And I'm like, oh, that's genius. That is so genius. And yeah, no, I think that was a planned little bit between the commentary. I think that was planned. If it wasn't, I mean, that just fucking Jericho's the GOAT.
Yeah.
My favorite part of this whole bit is she's on the football field and she's trying to wheel, but she's got the little 2.5 pound weight tied down to the back of the wheelchair and she can't do it. So then Reba's got to come and pick it up and then she can do it. I like
how Rebel looked at the camera.
Yeah, she's like, man. It's so good. It's so good.
They got to keep this this Rebel going after Britt gets back.
Right, for sure.
But Britt does mention Big Swole.
Yeah.
So I feel like this might be the next feud. What are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it last week during Swole's interview, and Britt kind of gets involved. I think this is the only place you can go. Why even bring it up? So definitely Swole, Britt Baker is going to be kind of the next feud, which will lead into a possible movement in the power rankings anyways for one of these. Maybe we'll see Swole in the top 5 soon. Who knows? But I like it. I like everything Britt's doing right now. Get her off commentary. She does better in these pre-recorded type videos. She's doing awesome ringside, sitting in her gaiter and kind of being the queen. That totally fits her character. But I want to see more of this conspiracy theory stuff too. I want to know where that's all going.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I was kind of missing that this week.
Yeah. Yeah, I think now that you're saying it, she's not good at the off-the-cuff stuff.
Right.
It needs to be
planned.
Maybe not scripted, but planned as to, everything that's going to be laid out.
For sure.
And she does it really well.
All right, let's move on to the next matchup of the night. What did we have in this one?
We had Inner Circle, Jake Hager and Proud and Powerful versus Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. I guess Orange Cassidy is not a best friend.
Yeah, they keep referring to it as the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy, but
I thought they were all.
They were all best friends, but
yeah,
it is what it is. Orange Cassidy has transcended the Best Friends. He's above them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I thought they had shirts and everything together, but yeah, I don't know. Like, what'd you think of this match?
I mean, it was okay. I've been very, very critical of 6-man tag matches before. This was no different. I mean, solid match. It kind of fell apart towards the end. I feel, once everybody starts, getting involved and, the referee loses handle of who's who and whatnot. Like
your favorite ref.
Yeah. I don't care for that kind of stuff, but I mean, it was a fine match. We got to see some spots and whatnot. The best part was after the match. That's what this was all about for me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was, I don't know. I like Proud Powerful. I thought Jake was actually good in this one. Mm-hmm. So like it was a decent match. I wish we could do some replays because that DDT Orange Cassidy on Santana.
Right.
Santana was perfectly vertical in the air.
Yeah.
Am I perfect?
Yeah.
Am I true? 90? Yeah. Insane. And he held it for like a second. It was so cool.
He's been taking lessons from Kenny Omega how to take a DDT. Yeah, that was an impactful DDT, and it was off of a tilt-a-whirl. Like he was ducking and dodging and springboarding into that. So yeah, it was a really it was a highlight spot of the match for sure.
Yeah, it made me pop.
Yeah, for sure.
And the other thing that made me pop was the last couple of weeks we've been talking about Excalibur and how knowledgeable he is with all of the moves. So I can't even remember who it was. It was maybe like Santana or something, does a clothesline and knocks him out of the ring, kind of Royal Rumble style.
Right.
And out of the blue, we get Jericho saying, "So what do you call that one, Excalibur?" And he just comes back so straight-faced, yeah, that was just a clothesline over the top rope. And I just thought that was so good.
Oh, man. We need Excalibur and Jericho commentating on some dark matches, I think. I think those two would be great together. with that kind of tension. I think it would be good TV.
Chris Jericho puts JBL to shame.
Oh, as a heel commentator?
Yeah. To shame.
There's no question. See, where Jericho, I mean, we're always going to come back to talking about Jericho. But Jericho on commentary leads the conversation. He's always a part of it. Where JBL was just there to say a one-liner, in a heel fashion. And anytime JBL said something, thank God Cole never broke when he'd say shit, because it was never funny. But I could just see JBL just like snickering, like he was so proud of himself for saying this, Schwarzenegger-esque one-liner Like, you're not funny, bud. But yeah, Jericho greater than JBL for sure. For sure.
What happened after the match?
So, after the match, the rest of the inner circle kind of gets involved. Jericho comes down from commentary. It's I kind of missed how all the oranges came about, but they're opening up these brand new packages of oranges and throwing them in a big sack, and commentary did a really good job to make sure that we knew that they were blood oranges, because
Yes.
I think that's what Jericho calls Orange Cassidy. He's Blood Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
And they beat the living piss out of Orange Cassidy with these oranges. They were just spiking them with it. I think Ortiz had a couple in the sock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were hitting him with that. I forget what they
The
called that.
8-ball.
Yeah, is that what it is? So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good bit. And then Jericho cuts a little promo, kind of making his stamp that, Cassidy's not on his level, basically. But I love that the camera caught that those oranges were busted. Like, they were hitting him with those oranges. I can only imagine. I don't know if they were exaggerating the... I think JR refers to it as a 20-pound bag of oranges. I don't know if they're pulling the 300-pound steel steps work on us. But...
Oh, yeah, totally. I
maybe
yeah,
8
I don't
pounds
think
of oranges, but not 20.
Yeah. Yeah, Jericho pulled them from under the ring.
I
That's
missed
where
it.
they
Yeah,
came from.
okay.
Yeah. I just didn't. I'd have to watch it again. I just don't know when he shows color. Like, what happened for him to show color?
Cassidy?
Like, yeah, like, was it the oranges? I feel like it happened before that.
Yeah, I don't remember now. Now that you're bringing it up, I don't remember. Is it just because they were blood oranges? They were red juice, or was it blood?
Maybe. No, he was. Well, yeah.
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Like, blood oranges aren't that orange. Like, they're not that color. So he was definitely showing color.
Right.
Whether it was real,
I don't know. Was there a
or
chair
just a rib,
shot?
I don't know.
Was there a chair shot beforehand?
I don't know. I'll have to watch it again. But
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that Orange Cassidy showed color.
Yeah, it is.
Now we have two. We got Cody and Orange Cassidy.
Well, Orange Cassidy is that, fair-skinned blonde, so, I mean, it's going to work when he shows color.
Yeah.
It's always so much more impactful on a white boy with blonde.
No Ric Flair where like the hair is turned red, but
Greg the Hammer Valentine.
or that. Yeah.
We need to do
Nice reference.
We need to do a top 5 color showers. We'll have a debate who's better, Flair or Valentine.
We might have to get a vanilla subscription just so we can
Go back and watch.
We'll do a
Research.
watch party match. Yeah.
That'd be great. All right, let's move on to the next segment. We had Tony Schiavone come out to ringside, and he was talking to Billy Gunn, or at least attempting to talk to Billy Gunn, but he was interrupted before Billy Gunn could even say a word. This is all about MJF, imposing his will. He was talking a lot of smack to the Gunn Club, basically. I guess one of Billy Gunn's other sons was there. Didn't quite look like a wrestler. Doesn't look like a wrestler. Might be a...
Doesn't look like Billy Gunn.
Yeah, might be a different mom, I think.
Could be.
Could be. Austin splitting
they are
image.
on the road.
Yeah. Austin splitting. He was the ass man. What did you think of this promo from MJF?
I like it, and the reason I like it is I like the angle and the words that he's using, and the words he's using here are favoritism.
Okay.
Right? Jungle Jabroni Jack Perry,
Right.
as he referred to him as. got the first crack at the TNT champion because of favoritism. You know,
He threw your ass out of the ring, though.
Yeah, but I just like that it's not I'm the best and I deserve it. You know, that kind of promo. It's, you know, they're afraid of me, and you know, they're picking their little buddies to be in matches with.
Right.
I think it's a bit of a unique take on that, and maybe possibly seeing a Cody MJF number 2 match.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked everything about that. So by that logic, are we going to see an MJF promo next week about Mark Quinn getting a title shot? He's a freaking tag team wrestler. This is horseshit.
Yeah, probably.
You know, and MJF does have some valid points there. Like, he is undefeated in singles wrestling. Like, how is this guy? I mean, he is now the number 1 contender technically. He's at the top of the leaderboard there, right? So, I mean, when's his shot going to be?
Yeah. And I think if they are going to do a Cody MJF 2, Wardlow's got to be out of the picture.
Right.
So Wardlow is going to turn on MJF, so MJF has to fight Cody by himself.
And he loses this time.
Yeah.
That could be. Because I already called it. Adam Cole is the next TNT champion. So.
Right. Adam Cole confirmed.
Adam Cole
Title of this episode.
All right. So, yeah, good stuff coming from MJF as always. I loved the jungle jabroni Jack Perry comment. Fuck, that made me pop pretty good. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We had another matchup. Sammy Guevara, the Spanish God, versus Colt Cabana. This was kind of stemming from the Colt Cabana Jericho little feud that happened last week. Sammy Guevara wanted his shot at him. This was more about Colt Cabana being pursued by the Dark Order than it was Sammy Guevara getting in the ring with Colt Cabana. I feel. Well, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I think you're right. This match doesn't really. I guess it kind of makes sense with the whole Jericho thing, but I feel like the Jericho match last week ended it.
Yeah,
like it's done now. So this is purely just story.
Yeah, and I mean it was a good match. Like these two worked really well together.
All right. Again, you're surprising me. I thought, you see Colt Cabana, it's like, he's gonna shit on this.
No, this one turned out really good.
No, yeah, I thought this was good too. We see Sammy die again, off of an elbow, and he folds up like just a cheap paper plate, man. And then they go on and they talk about how Sammy's kind of been crapped on, being run over by whatever. And so I thought that part of the match was really good. It was a quick one, but like you say, this was all a setup for the end of the match.
Yeah, for sure. I quickly want to bring up how impressed I am with Sammy, though, because this guy ain't a buck. What do they build him at, 165? He's a small guy. And he had Colt Cabana up on his shoulders, and he pulled off one squat. Like, I'm impressed. Colt Cabana's not a small man.
Well, even his finisher there, which they called the GTH.
Yeah, the go to hell.
It's kind of a torture rack with the knee.
Yeah, it's the inverted version of the go to sleep, if you will. So where in the go to sleep, the guy's belly would be against the back of your head, where Sammy has the back, and then he still kind of lifts him up and gives him the knee shot to the back of the head. So yeah, it's an impressive.
I feel like the guy that's on the shoulders can't really help out.
No, not really.
maybe kick his legs a little bit, but like that's all you flipping him over, right?
Yeah, it's super impressive that a guy
Yeah.
Sammy's size could pull that move off on a guy the size of Colt Cabana. Is impressive. I was impressed.
He is a god.
He is a god. He is the Spanish god. The Spanish god from Houston, Texas.
So what happened after the match here?
So, Colt Cabana is really selling his loss. He's upset. As we saw in the loss against Jericho the week before, and the Dark Order came out and they all lined up at the edge of the ring. And did Brody Lee talk? Did he? Oh no, he came out and he helped him up to his feet. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He helped him up, gave him a pat on the shoulder. He probably whispered something to him, but we didn't hear. And then the Dark Order leaves, and they go out the exit ramp there, back to backstage, and the whole thing is Colt Cabana followed them, and commentary.
Yeah, I thought the production did really well here. We're seeing Cabana's back, and we have the way Dark Order went. Sorry, this way, and then here's the other way, and he chose the path. I thought that was so clever, whoever came up with that.
And I don't know if our viewers have ever closely paid attention to or know kind of the secret of the two entrances, but if you pay close attention, the faces always come out one side and the heels always come out the other, and they always exit the same way. So it was a big deal for the Dark Order to come out of that left entrance as we're viewing it, leave out of that left entrance, and then Colt Cabana standing there and going out that left entrance, because he should have went out the right. He's a face.
Yeah.
So really interesting stuff, and we'll even add to that in a minute. But let's get into the the next segment of the night. We had this pre-packaged video of Joey Janela, and he's a little bit down on his luck. And a little depressed.
He's drinking.
He's drinking. He's sitting at the bar. I'm surprised they didn't have Hangman in the background. But I mean, this was a really cool kind of like the mood that this was filmed in was really sweet. I really enjoyed it. It had some cool, like, really mellow music in the background, but it reminded me of those I don't know, like Big City Nights or Sleepless City Nights kind of noir style, vignettes from like the 40s or something like that. It had that feel, and he's narrating over his own troubles, if you will. I enjoyed all of it, and it all leads up to him walking home from the bar, and there's Sonny Kiss. And offers them a ride, and we've seen these two work together on Dark, and we've talked about how these two really work well together. They're the Jersey Boys. I don't know if that's what they're calling themselves or anything, but these two are kind of an odd couple, but seemingly really the same. Like it's an interesting matchup. What are your thoughts on Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that we have some teasing of some teams splitting apart, and it makes room for new ones. I feel like this could be one of the new ones.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the things that Joey says in this segment are right. Like, he's had these really highs. Like, he fought John Moxley, and then now where do we see him? We see him on the odd Dark match, or in a 4-man tag team. So, I like this. Do you remember what Janela says at the end?
No, not off.
He says something about the car.
Oh yeah, and this is a really nice car.
Does he say like nice car, or does he say like what's up with the car?
No, he compliments like this is a really nice car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you think there was maybe some hidden meaning behind that, or what?
No, I wasn't sure, because if he was questioning the car, then I don't know, to me it puts a different light on it because it abruptly ends,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
I was just left sitting here going, well, did something go wrong in production? And because it like went right to commercial.
Oh yeah, no, he just compliments. It's like, yeah, this is a nice car, buddy, or like whatever he says.
Yeah,
I don't know
I think we'll see more.
Yeah, I want to see more of this. I want to see the story develop, and I want these two to come out as a tag team. You know, let's get a name on these guys. The Jersey Boys kind of fits. I don't know if that's trademarked. There's a fucking Broadway musical called that or something, but they're both from New Jersey. You know, they're both somewhat high flyers. You know, I really like these two together. We've seen them work together on Dark. I'm excited. But as we move on, coming back from commercial break, we have a backstage interview with Dasha Gonzalez and Colt Cabana. She's basically prodding him, like, why did you go down that exit? What are you thinking? He kind of dismisses her. You know, I don't really want to talk about it with you. And, you know, camera guy kind of messed this up a little bit, but, I mean, it was a hard angle. It was a small hallway, but, you know, he knocks on the door, and it's revealed that it's the Dark Order. It's Mr. Brody Lee's dressing room. I mean, we knew where he was going. We knew that, so that's why I kind of give the camera guy a break. But you know, what are your thoughts? Colt Cabana, Dark Order confirmed, number 6.
It's a tough choice. I don't think we really know because they tease so much, right?
Right.
But I think if they choose to do Cabana down this route, I like it. I like that we have a higher profile name being a part of it.
For sure.
And organically, this should take him out of BTE.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right?
Come on, Brody Lee. Get it figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like it too. I would love to see. I mean, I'm very critical of Colt Cabana. You know, kind of the goofy stuff that he does. We kind of already have a lot of comedic wrestlers and stuff like that. If he went dark and, you know, started not smiling when he was out in the ring and stuff like that, and had a little bit of a mean streak, I don't know that I like having a mask on him. You know, at the same time, Long John Silver and Alex Riley, they don't even put their masks on until, you know, they come out there and they're holding them and they do the hand signal, and then when they go to beat somebody up, they throw them on. It's just like, well, what the fuck's the point? Why do you guys get the free pass, but, you know, 5 and 10 are masked up? Like I don't get that.
Yeah.
They're not names. I don't even know what their real names are. I call them Long John Silver and Alex Riley. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Why do they get to not have masks on? But
yeah, I don't know why that is.
That's just me that's my little rant for the day.
But not the last.
But not the last, definitely not. And then we go into another segment. A lot of segments, like a lot of pre-recorded or backstage interviews in this episode of Dynamite. But we have Alex Marvez in the parking lot. John Moxley's working his way in, and he cuts a pretty heated promo about Taz and how much shit he's talking about Moxley, and basically gets attacked by Brian Cage from the back. What were your thoughts on this segment?
It was, to me, it felt like a typical John Moxley, you know, interview. What preceded, you could see from a mile away.
Oh yeah.
I like how he doesn't. So Brian Cage attacks John Moxley. I like how he didn't just come from the side. I like how you could see it coming, like the train, you know, is coming ahead and whatnot. This felt very vanilla to me. Did you get that sense?
Yep. Yeah.
Like we've seen this before.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we've seen everything.
Well, I mean, it's pro wrestling.
Yeah. But I don't know, like the whole car, the breaking of the windows, like I feel like we've seen this before.
For sure.
And it was probably Braun Strowman.
Yeah, yeah, it probably was on Dean Ambrose, right? Like,
Yeah.
We've seen Moxley go through a back windshield before. Yeah, I really liked that. I like that you brought up that when he's coming in, just the way that camera was shot. It's like that horror movie scene where you're just screaming at the TV for him to turn around, but he's nose to nose with Taz and stuff like that. I felt like this was just timed out really well. You know what I mean? Like Taz gets out of the way just at the right time. You know, it didn't look botchy. You know, the kind of the bait and switch there. And then when Moxley picks up that pipe and like he full swings it like he's swinging at a baseball or something like that, you know? He's trying to knock it out of the park. And Brian Cage gets out of the way just at the right time. Like any later, that would have clipped his arm. You know, any earlier, it would have looked dumb.
Yeah.
Like, it was perfect. And like, Moxley didn't, like, hold back on the swing at all. Like, he picked that up and he swung it and smashed that window. Like, the timing of this segment was really well done. But, again, it did come
you know what? I never noticed it when it happened. But, yeah, that's a really good point because I feel like, you know, other maybe less experienced wrestlers, they pick up that pipe and they're waiting for the guy to start ducking.
Right.
And it doesn't look as good, right?
Yeah,
So,
Moxley
they
didn't
executed it well.
Yeah, Moxley, like, if you watch it back, he, like, barely looked up. Like, he was down on the ground, he picks up the pipe, and he just stands up and swings. And Brian Cage got the hell out of there. It was really well done. I really liked this segment. So, yeah, just more build for this match at Fyter Fest. I'm getting really pumped for this title match at Fyter Fest. Let's move on.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good one because we know that John Moxley likes to hit hard, and this, like what we've seen here, like this guy can hit hard. So I think it's going to be a good one.
Really excited. Let's move on to the main event of the evening. We have the second installment of the TNT Championship Open Challenge. The American Nightmare Cody putting up the title against a tag team wrestler in Mark Quinn coming off of an ankle injury. Was kind of the topic of discussion going into this match. I'll let you go first on this one.
Pressure. You know, I thought this match was okay. I thought it was gonna be like crazy, just because when you have a guy like Mark Quinn, he can do the fly stuff, you know, high flying stuff, and then you have Cody who's like big and strong, that they could use this combination to just have this, you know, kind of epic match. But I don't know. I wasn't really into it. But again, I think it was one of those matches where it was just leading until the end. Like it was the end part that was the most important part of the match. I don't know. How did you see it?
I thought the same thing. Like the match was really centered about Mark Quinn's ankle instead of, you know, him having a title shot as basically a tag team wrestler. Like there was the match's story was all about the ankle, and commentary was all about the ankle, and then sure enough, Quinn goes to do a move on the top rope like a springboard and his ankle crumbles, and then Cody takes over the match. You know, that seemed to be what the match was all about. With no backstory or anything, it really had nowhere to go, so the match didn't really make sense. You know, where these open matches should just be matches, and they'll be good, solid matches, and then that's it. But, like you said, it kind of led into what happened afterwards. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So did we, yeah, I think Mark Quinn leaves. Cody's, got the title there, and then out
Celebrating.
strolls Mr. Hager,
Yeah.
and he goes to step into the ring, and then Arn stops him. And if I remember correctly, I think Hager kind of is choking him. Cody comes in for the save on Arn. Private Party and Matt Hardy version 1. I don't know the versions. I think it's version 1. Come out to help out Cody. Inner Circle comes out. Sammy, powerful. They just kind of brawl. So everybody's just sort of brawling at the end.
Just a big pull apart.
Yeah. But the biggest part of this, and this is what ends the show, is Inner Circle is leaving, and Cody gets on the mic and says, it's quite obvious, why you're out here. So I accept your challenge. You'll fight me at Fyter Fest.
Right.
So we have Hager and Cody at Fyter Fest. I'm not sure which day that will be, but
yeah. Yet to see what the schedule for Fyter Fest. Again, it's going to be a 2-night event, July 1st and 8th. And yeah, like I said, this is exactly what this match is all about. The match itself is almost redundant in a way. They could have just did this as a pull apart. Cody could have been out there doing a promo, and Hager interrupts. They get into a brawl. You do exactly the same way, and then it gives off the same thing. You know what I mean? It reaches the same point. But yeah, the match itself, it was just okay.
I wonder too, we've made this comparison between this open challenge of Cody's to John Cena's.
Yeah.
And one of the differences is John always started the show. Right? It was always him in the middle of the ring at the beginning of the show. He did a little spiel, and then somebody came out, and then they started the match. I felt like this one probably could have been better as a starting of the show match, rather than it's the main event and you get this kind of lackluster match and the announcement.
Right.
It's not main event enough for me.
Yeah, and I think what their
FTR should have been main event.
Yeah, for sure. I think what AEW is thinking in this situation is that the name of the title is the TNT Championship. Our show is on TNT. It should be the main event. That's their thought process.
You're probably right.
The thing that I don't like about this open challenge, I'm fine with the open challenge. I mean, we get to see Cody every week is kind of the main thing. But what John Cena's open challenge had versus Cody's is that we didn't know who was challenging John Cena every week. We knew Mark Quinn. We knew Mark Quinn was going to be the next title shot the night of Dynamite. They announced it.
Yeah.
And then we already knew that Jungle Boy wasn't going to win. There was no mystery to that. The cool thing about John Cena is that he went out there, he cut a spiel. He's like, what was his catchphrase for it? If you want some, come get some. And then he'd put the microphone down, take his shirt off, twirl it around, throw it to the crowd. And then music would hit. And, this is how we got introduced to stars like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. These were open challenge competitors that made their start in the main roster by doing these open challenges. This is what the open challenge needs to be. It doesn't always need to be a surprise, but it needs to be, it doesn't need to always be a new AEW member, but it should be a surprise, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That's what the open challenge
I think
is
you're
about.
right. I think that is what's missing. It's not a surprise.
Yeah. Cody should be out
we're not
there.
really getting that. We're not getting the challenge.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's another booked match.
Yeah. And we know how these booked matches are going to go. I mean, we know how the surprises are going to go too, but I mean, at least it's who's it going to be this week? Who's it going to be this week? It might be a Lee Johnson. Doesn't matter. at least we don't know what's gonna happen. You gotta kind of have that.
And then we're surprised, when it's a Dark Order member,
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
Or an Adam Cole. Yeah.
All right. Well, like we always say, Cody watches the show, so expect it to go that way next time. What did you think of this finisher before we end it off?
The ankle lock?
The ankle lock, but then he switches it to he pivots the left foot.
Oh, yeah, he went into a
knee
bar. Yeah, he went into a knee bar, right? I mean, we started off...
You don't see it too often, so
yeah,
I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was different. I liked Cody doing the figure four. But I guess with the story and the ankle, and that's kind of what the whole match was about, then it makes sense. But I liked the figure four better. And now that we don't really have this blood and guts submission War Games match, I don't know why Cody's still doing submissions. I guess he's just trying to show off his versatility.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was cool. It was something new.
Since you brought it up, you think Blood and Guts is done?
Oh no, we'll see a Blood and Guts match, but I don't know that it will be Elite versus Inner Circle anymore. Maybe a Dark Order comes in to go against Inner Circle, or or something. I don't.
So the Stadium Stampede.
Yeah, that was their.
That was the card they played.
That was the card they played because the way the cards were dealt. But AEW will do a Blood and Guts War Games match at some point. They have to. So it's just a matter of time and who. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good show. We got through that fairly quickly. That was a good one. I'm happy with that. Really good week. Again, go check out NXT In Your House. It sounds like it was a really good card. If you haven't watched AEW Dark yet, go check out that match between Lee Johnson and Five. It was really good. The Butcher and the Blade match is really good. And Dynamite. It was a really solid episode this week. There's a lot of story advancement in this episode. So, and that FTR debut. I mean, I can't gas that one up enough. It was unreal. It was a really good match. Pure tag team wrestling in that. So go check it out.
They actually tagged.
They followed the rules. #FTR. So with that, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us some comments below on what your thoughts on everything were, and we'll be sure to comment back and engage in conversation. We appreciate you checking out the show. Again, if you want to check me out, playing some video games on Twitch, twitch.tv/Towelie_006. Appreciate all the viewership and the support, and happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, bro.
All right. Peace out, guys, and go fuck yourself, Jason Corvette.